His name is Robert the Doll. Many say he has supernatural powers and can cause anyone great harm.
There are a lot of stories out there about people being possessed by evil demons or sinister spirits, but others believe that objects can also be possessed and carry out evil actions. So it's time to brace yourselves as we venture down a creepy path in order to uncover some of the most evil and haunted dolls out there. Each one of these haunted dolls have their own unique stories that are so disturbing they will literally make you want to take a bath in some holy water. How's it going, YouTube? I'm your host for this one, Landon. Do not buy me a doll, and welcome back to another most amazing top 10 video. Before we talk about haunted dolls, I want to know, what is the scariest thing that has ever happened to you? Tell me your scariest story in the comment section below. And if you guys want to protect yourselves from being possessed, quickly hit the subscribe button. And just letting you guys know that the most amazing merch is finally available to you guys. And yes, we have done it. We have the Is This Real Life Right Now shirt. So if you guys just want to check it out, click the links down below. And if you guys want to purchase it, use promo code MA10 and we'll give you guys another $5 off right now, limited time only. And if you guys want, take a picture of yourselves wearing our merch and we will feature every single one of you guys in a most amazing top 10 video. Alright, let's get into this one. This is the top 10 scary dolls that are more haunted than Annabelle. Just when you think nothing can get any more haunted. Well, starting off, number 10, we have Mandy. Her cracked face, protruding eyes, faded clothes, and ripped body parts aren't even the scariest things about her. Mandy is probably one of the most iconic haunted dolls. She is currently on display at a museum, and ever since then, people have reported strange occurrences whenever they come into contact with the doll. But before she was put on display, Mandy the doll was placed inside of a plastic bag, and this is to ensure that she wasn't infested with bugs. Well, the plastic bag seems to be the trigger that started all of these strange happenings. Employees who worked in the room saw the bag rustling on its own, and the doll would be found in different positions. The workroom was often trashed, and objects would be thrown in different areas. But then all hell broke loose when Mandy was put in her glass display. People who saw her said that they would feel an intense of sadness, and it would just like take over their bodies. And anyone who tries to take a picture with her, they will be cursed. Amelia stares into our soul at number 9. Are you guys prepared to have your soul claimed by Amelia? Well, take a look at this picture right here. Her eyes look like they belong to Satan. Amelia was put up for auction on eBay, and she actually became one of the highest viewed items. The original listing for Amelia said, "This doll is not recommended for the weak of heart or for anyone or for any little kids to have in their bedrooms." To me, this warning would be super effective, but people decided to ignore this warning and they placed their bids anyways. Apparently Amelia's eyes were originally blue, but over time they glazed over and turned into a creepy green color. And once her eyes changed, weird things began to happen. The person who bought her on eBay said that they saw her standing in the hallway, heard her giggling, and one time she even waved. Needless to say, she was put back up for sale on eBay, and it is rumored that Amelia has been terrorizing families ever since the 1800s with her evil laugh and sinister eyes. My question is, how much is she now? How much should I put in a bid? If it's like 500, I'll do it. I'll bid. Number 8, we have Pupa the doll. According to the legend, Pupa was given to a young Italian girl as a gift in the 1920s. This creepy doll has real life human hair, and the Italian girl kept the doll until she died in 2005. But growing up, she told her family that the doll was alive, and even after the girl died, her family began to notice strange things with the doll. The glass case that she was kept in, it would constantly steam up. Or there'd be creepy messages written inside, like hate or die. But the fun doesn't stop there. Pupa would also move around a lot, and she enjoys tapping on the glass. I mean, what is more creepier than that? It is also said that Pupa can cause her owners to develop an intense attachment to her. This can cause the owner to violently lash out if someone attempts to touch, look, or talk about the doll. Well, I guess I should be watching my back from now on, and I don't want the new owner to come find me because I've been talking about the doll, so I'm gonna Old Man Puppet crawls onto this list at number 7. Aside from looking like a creepy Benjamin Franklin, this puppet has a bad reputation of strangling his owners. He's also known to cause bruises, scratches, and vivid disturbing dreams. So why the heck has someone not burned his entire body yet? A paranormal investigator got possession of the doll and filmed him every night for 3 months using a timed night vision camera. The investigator wanted to know if this puppet was actually possessed because the previous owner swore that he tried to choke him to death. Well, take a look for yourselves. Yeah, I'd say that this thing is pretty damn haunted, and get this, if you come into contact with this puppet, you will experience horrible nightmares about an old man tormenting you while you are sleeping. Sounds like a good enough reason for me to stay far away from this thing. Harold the doll stalks us at number 6. Apparently, Harold is the first haunted doll to ever be sold on eBay, and since then, a ton of paranormal investigators have been super interested in him. There are countless stories about the doll's owners becoming mysteriously sick, or they would get severely injured just shortly after they noticed that Harold was smiling at them. The owner felt the darkness coming from Harold, and weird things began to happen around his house. Eventually, he couldn't take it anymore, and he decided to put the doll in a storage unit back in 2013. Of course, Harold sparked the interest of a lot of people, a lot of paranormal investigators, so they decided to run some tests. One investigator had to call off an investigation because Harold said, "I'm going to kill you." Yeah, that's good enough for me to stop as well. Other people who've come into contact with him have suffered from terrible migraines and misfortunes. To make things even scarier, many people have also said that they've been seriously injured after holding the doll. The owner even links the death of his puppies to the sinister doll. But he refuses to sell Harold because he doesn't want anyone else to experience the pain he feels on a daily basis because of this doll. Amanda's up next at number 5. She was first auctioned off on eBay. I mean, why are people selling these haunted dolls? Well, it was auctioned off back 2003, but anyone who came into contact with this doll would report strange occurrences that happened in their home, from reoccurring terrifying nightmares to evil whispers and even giggles. And those are just a few things that people have experienced. At least 20 people have owned this doll, and many of them gave the doll away after owning them for less than a year. One woman who owned the doll said that her nightmares felt so real. She would dream that she was being physically attacked, dragged by the ankles, and getting scratched violently. When she woke up, she would see Amanda sitting in the corner with an evil grin on her face. Yeah, no thanks. I'd be reaching out to eBay seller for a complete refund, and you know what? I'm gonna put an additional $1,000 on top. You owe me now. I just don't get why people on the internet are spending their hard-earned money on scary-looking possessed dolls. I don't get the appeal. I mean, use your hard-earned money on the new iPhone. The new iPhone 11 is probably gonna cost like $2,000. Peggy terrorizes us at number 4. On the surface, Peggy looks like an innocent porcelain doll, but I'm here to shatter this illusion. Peggy is far from innocent. She is actually possessed by an evil spirit. And before I show you guys a picture of Peggy, I should warn you guys first, people who look at this picture or videos of Peggy reported having chest pains and nausea or debilitating headaches. So if you guys don't want to risk it, close your eyes now. Because yeah, some people also reported seeing vivid images of mental institutions and being overwhelmed with feelings of intense anxiety. Oh, and get this, one person even claims that Peggy gave her a heart attack. So if you look at her picture and you are experiencing any of these symptoms, you might be the 81st person to be struck by Peggy's wrath. Juliet stabs her way into number 3. Juliet has been owned by the same family for many generations, and it is strongly believed that Juliet has a very powerful curse on the women in this family. It is said that all the women in this family will give birth to 2 children, 1 girl, 1 boy. But on the 3rd day of being born, the boy would suddenly die. It is also believed that the doll traps the souls of the boys within its body, where they will stay until Judgment Day. Legend also says that if you hear sobbing coming from the doll, the women of the family believe that their sons are being trapped inside of Juliet, and they must keep the doll and treat it as if it was their own son. Apparently they're not allowed to get rid of the doll, or else they would die from a terrible and tragic deaths themselves. The Blindfolded Doll creeps us out in at number 2. Well, I don't know about you guys, but it definitely creeps me out. This horrifying doll was found on the side of the road in Singapore with a blindfold on its eyes. Personally, if I saw this on the road, I'd probably press the gas harder and I would just... No one knows the real name of this doll, but we are all certain of one thing. She is incredibly haunted. People have reported seeing her move all by herself. She will move her head from side to side, and she will even speak to you. Okay, when dolls start to talk to you, that is a huge no-no. People say the original owner placed this blindfold over its eyes so that the doll wouldn't be able to find them. And it's also believed that if anyone removes the blindfold, the doll will follow them and haunt them until they die. Don't believe me? Well, apparently someone untied the blindfold, and later on the same day the man committed suicide and another murder happened near where the doll was originally found. I mean, could this be a coincidence? I think not. Robert the Haunted Doll terrorizes us at number 1. I mean, how do we not put Robert the Doll in at the top spot? Robert is an extremely haunted doll that has black, beady eyes, a worn out face, and an evil grin. Most people would agree that Robert is possessed by an evil demonic entity that has the ability to make your worst nightmares a reality. In fact, it is believed that the Robert has caused numerous car accidents, broken bones, job loss, divorce, and a bunch of other negative misfortunes. Currently, Robert can be found at the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida, where he's actually locked away behind a sturdy glass cabinet. But don't be fooled, that glass won't protect you against the evil forces of Robert. And if he wants to inflict pain on you, he can easily do so. So if you plan on visiting Robert, make sure you don't disrespect him, or you will definitely regret it. Well, there you guys have it. This is the end of the video. Don't forget to check out our brand new most amazing merch. Check out the links down below and use promo code MA10 for $5 off of your purchase. I was your host for this one, Landon Dallatsing, and I will see you guys all in the next most amazing top 10 video.